You need to be relentless in pursuit of your goals, in pursuit of your vision. And I'm relentless. From when I started doing it on social media to win today, I never give up. And I think that's the one thing that people found inspirational about me, and people found, aside from the content that I push out there, it's like this woman, her tenacity to never give up is just inspiring.
Today I have a special friend as my guest. Please meet Mary Cristine. She's a wellness entrepreneur. She's a founder of Be That Life. She's pretty much a go-to person when it comes to anything with that has to do with health, with wellness, with well-being. She's built an amazing community around the world. She has a very strong social and she's an interesting person. So, Mary, welcome.
Thank you, Milosh. It's so good to be here.
It's great to have you with us. So, Mary, tell me about yourself. Present yourself in a way that you usually don't do, if you can do such thing.
I am an adrenaline junkie. I love everything adventure. I'm so passionate about travel. I have traveled to more than 70 countries. And what I discovered with travel is really trying your best to live simple. It just brought so much simplicity to my life when I was able to travel to all of these incredible countries. And it made me realize that the world is really your oyster and you can do anything that you want to do.
That's great. Well, we know each other for many years now. And I remember we haven't seen each other for a long time at a certain period, and then we met and we were telling each other what happened in our life in the meantime. And then you told me some great, amazing things, and I was blown away. And it's in such a short period of time, you kind of turn around your life. I wouldn't say you became different person, because you were that person, but I'm saying drastic changes happen. How did you, what did you do? What was the breaking point? When did you say, okay, I don't want to be this Mary, I want to be that Mary?
I think I've always wanted to be the Mary that I am today, but life circumstances tend to happen and you kind of put yourself in this box because you got obligations and responsibilities. And because of that, I felt like, when my son went to go and live with his dad, it was more focused on now I can have this opportunity to really build what I wanted to build and the vision that I wanted to create for my dream life and the impact that I wanted to create in this world. So yes, we've known each other for quite a long time. And yes, my growth and my success has been way faster than I would say a lot of other people in my space, perhaps. And I think it's really just boils down to really understanding what it is you want to do, focusing on that one thing and going after it. And I think because my grit, my determination, my willingness to never, ever use failure as a sign of giving up, I instead, kind of built this mindset around failure and using that instead as a way to grow and to push myself even harder to succeed and push the boundaries and push the limits. So I think, being someone in the space of health and well-being, when that wasn't even the space I was in before, working in the corporate environment, completely different background, completely different way of thinking, the stability, the comfort that comes from that, to then moving to a space where I knew nothing what it was like to really be an entrepreneur. It's a really hard world, as you would know, you've been in it for quite a long time, to then being in a space of having to find ways to make your own money, to have no stability, to have no comfort, to using your life savings and risking everything for creating an opportunity, a dream that nobody else saw but you. So really, I think the one thing that really stood out for me is that I just never gave up.
Well, they say you evolve only when you exit your comfort zone, and that's, yeah. Well, a lot of people you meet, and they a lot of people keep telling me I feel like I'm trapped. I feel like I'm in cage, but that's lack of courage, I would say, stops them from breaking that cage and doing what they want. They're afraid that to leave that comfort zone. They're afraid to fail. And I remember, you know, I think from in the entrepreneur world, everybody has their own favorite billionaire, and mine is Mark Cuban, and I listen to him a lot. I like him because of many things that he does, and he said once, you know, from somebody who failed over and over and over again, I can tell you that it doesn't matter how many times you fail, you just have to be right one time. And were you afraid to fail? And what if you failed? What would you do?
I think because I was a young mom and I had a son at the age of 22, and I failed so many times being a parent. And I think I built so much strength and resilience through that there was really nothing that bothered me after that. I think parenthood is one of the hardest jobs in the world.
Agree.
Yeah, and you know, and to do it as two parents is extremely difficult. But then to do it as one, and to be a role model as a mother and father, was an extremely challenging situation and kind of period in my life. So I think with that alone, I feel like if I can hack being a parent, raising a 21-year-old son who's 21 now, I can do anything and everything. I'm invincible.
Bravo. I'm proud of you. Being a woman, single woman, with a kid in such a competitive market as UA, the world is competitive, but UA it's just on another level. And making, that's a big accomplishment, and I have to give it to you. Also, along the way, it's not that you became successful. A lot of people become successful, but you became inspirational. I hear your name more and more, and different groups of people, and people want to meet you. You inspire people. So I'm sure it feels great, you know, being inspiring, actually doing something good, giving back to the community. We'll get to that point, and also making money while doing that. So how did you blend? Is that the passion that you have about your work? Is it the wellness and health and well-being, something that is really needed, and then in today's world, and then people feel compassion, but in the end of the way, they have to participate financially to get it because it does cost. So tell me about that.
I really love what you just said, that I am being spoken about in such a positive way by people. And
Yeah,
I
a
think
lot.
that's super important. I think, you know, when I hear that from people who say those kind of things, it really inspires me to push even harder to build what I'm building today. But I would say that when it comes to being an inspirational figure for a lot of people, that comes down to story. We're all storytellers. Some are better than others, but we all have a story to tell. And I think if you're just authentic to that, and you just be able to be vulnerable and share, you know, who you are, what you are, how you live, what are the things that brought you to where you are today, people resonate with that. Because I always feel like there are people that we follow on social media. You know, you have your role model, I have mine. We all want to kind of attain something in life by looking at other people's life, and we feel like that's the thing that we truly want. But I think we tend to forget that when we use other people's lives so much more a platform to inspire us, we kind of in some way lose our own identity. So I think it's important to use what we see as the outside noise, I would like to say, as other people's platform to inspire us, but also to give us our own voice and our own identity. And I think when I decided to venture into the wellness space, I knew that I suffered with my own losses in my personal life, with losing my dad to cancer, but then having a son with a neurological disorder at such a young age, finding alternative ways and alternative medicine to help him heal. I realized that actually health, from my own experiences, was the most important and pivotal kind of the one thing that we need to, in order to thrive in every aspect of our life. And if I could just find a way to make it an easier, more digestible way for people to understand why they need to focus on health, to have every aspect of their life incredible, then maybe they could also look at it as a tool to then develop themselves into becoming who they want to be. Because it starts from that one thing. So when I decided to venture into the wellness space, I decided sleep was going to be the thing that I wanted to specialize in. But then I moved away from sleep and then moved into gut health because I realized that all disease begins in the gut. And if you're not focused on really transforming and healing and caring about your gut health, everything else in your life, in your organs, in your brain health, deteriorates over time. So when I started sharing content on social media, for example, I'm not gonna lie, I was quite scared in the beginning. I'm not as confident as I was back then. Even going on camera, I would do 5, 10 takes, always worried about the way I looked. I was worried about the things I said. Today the person I am is very different from the person I was when I first started social media and I first started building my brand and my platform. But the one thing that I knew that I wanted to change was that if I didn't find a way to be confident and comfortable in front of the camera, I was never going to be able to get my message across the way I wanted to get it across. So every single day for months, for years, I didn't stop. And what people noticed about me is that you can't give up on your social media platform. You need to post every single day. You need to be relentless in pursuit of your goals, in pursuit of your vision. And I'm relentless. From when I started doing it on social media to win today, I never give up. And I think that's the one thing that people found inspirational about me, and people found, aside from the content that I push out there, it's like this woman, her tenacity to never give up is just inspiring.
That's amazing. I remember when you got your first a million followers, you were excited. And look, we all have a social media and we all know how difficult it is to grow the numbers. You really have to be interesting. You really have to give a content that people like to get to 1 million followers. So I gotta give it to you. And then again, you're not like a mass, you're not like something that would be interested to everyone. You're very finding I wouldn't say a niche, but more and more people are interested in the subjects that you're talking about, but I wouldn't say the entire globe right now. So something that I talk about, like, more people are interested in, but still I don't I don't have anywhere nearly as many followers as you do. You're first woman on my podcast.
Oh my gosh, I feel
Yes.
so honored. Thank
Yeah,
you.
but it's not on purpose. It's just it just happened that way, and I'm happy that it's you, because actually I do support women and women in entrepreneurship, and I'm always happy when I hear a great story about women succeeding, and I know how women's everyday job, raising a family, raising a child, supporting everything, being a head of the house. Let's put it the way it is. How that's important and how difficult it is, because leave me with kids for 5-6 days alone, and I understand. So doing all this and having to take care of your kid and being alone in Dubai, in United Arab Emirates, in Arabic Peninsula, it's very unusual for a woman, single woman, to succeed by herself. Were you thinking about it like, what am I doing? Look where I am. I'm in the Middle East, and I'm trying to make a a revolution with my idea.
You know, I have quite a unique situation, Milos, because I grew up here. So I moved out here when I was 5 years old, and I have made the UAE my home. And it's crazy because no matter where I've traveled in every other part of the world, UAE still feels the most at home for me. You know, like I have been to some incredible places you can imagine. You've traveled the world yourself too, and there, like the world is such a beautiful place. Like Europe is incredible. Asia is wonderful. Like every single country that you go to, there is some unique beauty and aspect to it that makes people want to be there, live there, build their lives there. But what really I found so inspirational about the UAE and growing up here is what they've built over the span of 50 years. You know, they have created something that no other country in the world has ever been able to create in such a short period of time. It's a massive hustle culture. You're constantly networking and meeting inspiring, incredible individuals who come here and want to build incredible things. And the other day, I was actually speaking to my partner when we were out at the mall. And there's no place in the world that you see so many different nationalities. It's an incredible melting pot for so many different industries, opportunities. You feel like when you come here, you can become something. The UAE gives you a platform to create nothing to something. You know, they give you the tools, they give you the environment, they give you a networking platform, the opportunities to
Can we
really
call
build success.
UAE today the land of opportunities? Something that was United States calls a century ago.
They have dubbed the UAE as the new LA. Dubai is the new LA. Like content creators, entrepreneurs are all flocking here, building businesses, buying real estate, you know, like wanting to become a part of this culture, this nation. And I feel the most alive when I'm here. You know, it really inspires me to push and push and push. And I like that. You know, I was recently in Bali because I'm looking to buy a home in Bali as well this year. And, you know, although Bali is beautiful and has that very, you know, peaceful, very like hippie environment where you go there and you feel at peace, I didn't get the same kind of like hustle culture and hustle mentality and inspiring me to want to become more creative in Bali than when I'm in Dubai, for example, you know. And that isn't a negative towards Bali because I think every country and island and city in the world is beautiful for so many things. But I feel like I am thriving from a business aspect in Dubai than I am in any other part of the world.
I promote Dubai a lot. I promote UAE. And I do business here, and I live here, and my family lives here. My kids are raised here, and I absolutely love the city, love the country.
Have you felt most safe in any other part in the world?
No, this is the to me this is the safest place on the earth that I feel safe. Also, I feel welcomed. I feel more integrated into this community than sometimes my own. It's incredible. It has to do, first, I believe it has to do with the great leadership that this country has. Then the entire nation, all the local community is so warm, welcoming. They let you integrate into a country. And then it has also to do with that 90% of people come from somewhere. So they don't have their cousins, their friends from back home, their usual go-to places. So they have to rebuild all that all over again. So everybody wants to be a friend. Everybody has to say something new because you never met those people. You're constantly meeting new people. Everybody comes with an idea, fresh idea from all over the world. Because when you're back home, the mindset of the people, doesn't matter which country you are, the mindset of the people, usually goes into one direction. It's one industry that country is focused on. It's one political view or one religion or whatever. Here, you get everything from all over the world. You walk down the street, you hear 15 languages being spoken. You see white, black, tall, short, Asian, European, South American, African, everybody living together, everybody's making friends, everybody's doing business. And I believe this is the promised land.
I totally agree. It's the promised land.
And thanks also Emirates Airlines that you just jump on a plane and you can take you anywhere, which has to do a lot with this rapid development of this city, because it's just connected with everything.
Totally. It's the hub now. You know, people like to pass by Dubai always before they go anywhere.
So you know what I do. It's you know what I do, and then I want to hear your experience. You're opening a business, okay? So you decided Mary wants to do a business. What Mary needs to start doing business, Mary needs a company. So it takes steps, bureaucracy, this, that. How was that?
I set up 2 companies actually. So my initial coaching company that I set up, because I coach high net worth individuals, entrepreneurs, CEOs into health transformations, let's just say that. And then I set up another company most recently with my recent experience, because I launched my own supplements line. And
yeah, I kind of wanted to announce that.
and
But never mind.
it's okay. I'm sorry, but yeah, I launched that too, and 2 very different experiences, but 2 very beautiful experiences, I would say. I decided to set up my company in the free zone.
Yeah.
So both my licenses are based in free zone, and it's interesting because you know, the first license I got wasn't as fast as the second license I got, because the second license I got it the same day.
Okay,
That's
so
how
what's
quick-
slow? What's slow?
That's how quick. I think it's
No. What was the slow? How many days it took you to get the first
it
one?
took 3
3 days.
days.
So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, just to note this. Slow process of opening a company in Dubai is considered to be 3 days. Okay.
Yeah, and but the fastest one ever was the same day. So you just submit all of your requirements, you make the payment, and you get your license the same day.
Do you know that that's absolutely impossible to do anywhere around the world but here?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's absolutely impossible.
Yeah, it's amazing how they make it so they streamline the process and make it so easy for everyone to just open a company.
So no stress, no nothing. 1 day or 3 days, and
Nothing.
you got it.
Yeah, and customer service was impeccable. You know, I have since then recommended that same company to many of my friends who have also set up companies with them.
Okay, great. Okay, now you touched the subject. I remember us sitting having a coffee and say, I'm launching my product line. And you were already doing so much at the same time that I remember telling you, okay, slow down, take it easy. No, I got to do it now. I'll do it. You told me, you will see, I will do it. Next time we saw each other, you had a product line.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. Tell us about that.
Okay, so yeah, I remember when we sat in a coffee shop and we talked about it. And you know, Milosh, I think honestly, as a woman in general, across the board, around the world, it's harder to get things than it is for a man. You know,
Really?
In a sense of investment, let's just say, for example, because at the time I was trying to raise money for my supplements line and it wasn't as easy. But then eventually I managed to cross that hurdle, got the investment, launched the brand, got it to where I needed to get to today. And I am a massive believer is don't wait for anyone to tell you how you should live your life. I believe if you feel it's the right time to do something, you should go and do it. You know, we spend so much of our lives listening to the outside noise or opinions of other people based on what we feel is right for ourselves, instead of listening to that true voice, our intuition, our gut instincts on what we feel is the right time to do something. You know, and we are so like overshadowed by maybe experts in certain fields, entrepreneurship, business, real estate, medical, that we forget like, hey, it could be even like a symptom that you're feeling and you go to a doctor and they say you're feeling nothing, you're fine, take this pill and you'll be better. But you know you're still not feeling right? And you go to another doctor for a second opinion and they tell you the exact same thing. We did an x-ray on you, we don't see there's anything happening, we feel that you're good. but you're not feeling better and it's been a weekend and you're still not feeling better. So who do you trust more? Do you trust more how you feel, or you trust more what the doctor tells
I
you?
always trust how I feel.
Exactly.
You know, I don't want to undermine somebody studying and being very good at what they do, because we all have some career, we all do something, and we don't want to be undermined. But it's how you feel, and that's always when I have my clients. You know, our job is to advise them and to give them options, but in the end, I always tell them, this is for you. This decision, you have to be comfortable with your decision, and you have to know that you're doing the right thing.
I've
That's the
learned
whole
that
point.
too in working with clients for so many years. You realize that you can't push someone to want to become healthy. Like you can't push someone to go and buy a house that they don't want to buy. You know, no matter like it's in the best location, but if they're not feeling it, if they go in there and the energy is not right, they're not going to buy that property off you. They're going to buy it from someone else who they feel, you know, they exchange great energy, they like the environment and so on. It's the same, I think, for any aspect in life. I would say that there is never a right time for anything. I think the right time is the time that you create it, when you open that door and you create that door for yourself. That is when it's the right time for you. So when I decided that I wanted to launch a supplement line, I really found that there was just a massive gap in the market between real healthy trusted supplements and those that were not. And every time I would have to go to get my clients to buy supplements outside of the country opposed to buying them in the country, because I just weren't finding the right kind of composition on active ingredients in the supplements within the country. And also, when you get into a supplement brand or in any brand that you're focusing on, can you 100% guarantee the quality of the brand? No, you can't, right? You have to make sure that it's something that you curate on your own to understand that it's the right composition that you're comfortable giving to someone. When you're buying a takeout meal and you're going online into a delivery platform and they deliver you the food, can you 100% guarantee that the ingredients that they're putting in this food is what you would normally do at home?
No, okay.
Well, it's the same in anything, in any industry. If a developer is building me a house in Bali and a developer building me a house in St. Lucia, can I guarantee that the quality of the home is precisely what I wanted instead of me building it day in,
Yeah.
day out
No,
myself?
you can't. No, you can't.
You cannot. So it's
Yeah.
the same in anything. So I decided that I wanted to create a supplement line with the cleanest ingredients, which I know that I'm going to be comfortable taking, my family, my loved ones will be comfortable taking, and the world and my clients, that I know that I can push it and know and be comfortable that this is something that is really good for you and for your family.
Where the ones that are listening this and they want to try your supplement products, where they can find them?
And on bethatlife.co.
Okay. bethatlife.com. Um, I wanna ask you something. Wellness, health, well-being, of course, very, very, very important. We have to stay healthy and alive. The wealthier people get, more reasons to stay alive, yeah, to enjoy. That's why you have all these wealthy clients coming to you and doing private sessions and trainings. But then I see a lot of people trying to get as a consumer or as a practitioner into this sector, also meditation, also this. And there's so much out there that sometimes I feel, is this just like you're being trendy? Is this the way to be cool today? How do I, if I'm new to this and I want to be part of it in a way, I want to get involved, I want to get some help, how do I define who's right and who is, phony?
Yeah, that's a good point you make. But before I answer that, I'd like to perhaps make a point on the wealth aspect of it, because you did talk like, the wealthier you get, obviously, there's many things that you kind of sacrifice in order to get to that level. A lot of people sacrifice their health to get to that level. And about 2 weeks ago, I had a friend whose friend actually like took his own life here in the region. Extremely wealthy individual, and left a handwritten note, a suicide note to his wife, and decided to just jump off the balcony. So money isn't everything. Let's just, I think that's an important narrative to push out there. And we all, money is a wonderful thing to have because it gives us an opportunity to live the life that we want to live, whether it's creating an impact, whether it's pushing your dream idea, building a great life for your children, your family, but at the expense of what? So the reason why a lot of very successful individuals reach to the point where they feel like they have taken that for granted and want to then take that for as one of the most important aspects of their life and put aside everything for a moment, is because they've realized that my health is deteriorating. I can't function as I used to function in order to be present for my family, for my coworkers, for the people that I work with, and to build a thriving business. I realized that I need to start focusing on my health. Sure, longevity and health is a trending topic right now. It's a trending topic because people are starting to move away from the sleeping culture to a more woke culture, where people are like, hey, actually, this is making sense. I really do want to live to 100, but not 100 with my lifespan and be disabled at the age of 80 and live the next 20 years in a wheelchair. I want to focus on health span, where by the age of 80 I'm still walking and running and playing with my grandchildren, and by 100 I'm thriving. So it makes sense for a lot of people, and that's why it's become a trending topic, because they realize that I actually want to live like that better. Dan Buettner, who is a scientist and researcher who created the blue zones, spoke about all the different blue zones, which he's gone and seen and tried to understand their lives about it. There's a documentary on Netflix on the blue zones, and the focus on the blue zones diet is because people are figuring out that in order to become successful at whatever it is you do, you need to focus on your health. So how do you differentiate between all of this noise that you see on social media, on YouTube channels, on people telling you, there's conventional doctors, there's functional doctors. Who do you trust? I think it boils down to who gives you an advice that isn't a pill for an ill. I think that is one of the most important narratives that we need to push and continuously push, because not every sickness deserves a pill. There's alternatives, ways to heal. And if you can find a doctor, a longevity expert, a practitioner that will really focus on sitting down with you for more than 15 minutes, because in conventional medicine, you really only require 15 minutes with a doctor, and they tell you, this is your prescription and this is what you need to do.
Yeah, my first encounter with this whole longevity topic and subject was with Deepak Chopra. He's a friend of mine, and
I love Deepak.
yeah, he's cool. I understand, but still, there's a lot of ones that just buy a baggy pants, put a couple of bracelets, Birkenstocks, some worn out T-shirt, go to Bali, and I'm a healer.
Yeah. But I think it's very easy to differentiate those that are really doing it as something that they're passionate about and really create an impact, and then those who are not. So I think it's actually quite interesting, because yesterday I had a meeting with a brand that wanted to launch here in the UAE, a new brand that wanted to launch in UAE, in a very disruptive space, with a very innovative product that they want to bring to the market, and someone who met with over 300 different types of influencers in the region to kind of bring an ambassador on board. And this owner of this company found it so challenging to find the right person, because everyone was so different to what they show on their social media platform to who they are in person. So I think ultimately, with a few conversations, you can differentiate between someone who is a true advocate for what they do and someone who isn't.
What's your end goal? Who do you want to be in 5 years?
In 5 years, I want not myself, but I want Be That Life to be a household name. I want people to look at Be That Life as a trusted resource to, or have changed the way that they look at health, the way that they raise their children, the way that they speak to their partners and their relationships, the way that they have come out of their shell and become the person that they wanted to be. I think Be That Life was really born from my own wanting to become something and to create something in my life. And today I have created that. So I want my platform and myself to always serve as an inspiration for others, that they can become anything that they want to be. But first it needs to start from their core and build health as the ultimate epitome to their dream life. Growing up in the Middle East, it was very challenging because the Middle Eastern culture has a very different way of eating. Let's say they lacked a lot of awareness. They still do. Let's say and I'm here trying to bridge that gap into trying to understand their culture, their way of eating. They eat quite heavy meals. They eat late at night. But there are ways to go around that where you can still eat those meals and still stay healthy, but just knowing at the right times when you need to eat that. So
It's funny. We've been friends, and you're doing this, and I always struggle with my weight. I don't know. Even when I breathe, I think I gain weight. I need to take more advice.
Yeah, you do. But I think, have you been practicing intermittent fasting, Milos?
Yes, and that worked really well for me. I would recommend that to anyone.
Do you fluctuate with your eating habits and intermittent fasting a lot? Mainly because you're someone that travels often as well, too.
Yeah, travels make it very difficult because when I travel, I just airports and different time zones, and it's challenging. I don't fluctuate that much as I used to because I've been intermittent fasting for a year now, and I managed to lose about 15 kilos.
Amazing. And do you tie that to intermittent fasting as to why you lost 15 kilos?
Yeah, of course. While I was intermittent fasting, I was most of the time making sure that I eat healthy, not fatty, and I do get carried away. I do go to McDonald's. I do go to Burger King. I order pizza, but less and less and less and less because I feel more energetic now, and I start swimming as well. I put that as exercising on it as my morning routine. I feel so much more productive at work. I feel happier. I feel just life's better.
Life is always so much better when you're healthier.
Yeah.
But I think the problem is every narrative that's been pushed on social media or like the people around us is always like they demonize sugar, processed foods, McDonald's, KFC. It's all demonized. It's like people can't live, But I think the narrative isn't about like you can't have any of these things ever. Because people are gonna lie to you and they're gonna have it.
Yeah,
you're gonna have a Starbucks Frappuccino.
But you gotta live.
But you gotta live.
And
at the end of the day, if your narrative is like you're super strict and super stringent and never have any of those things that you want to indulge in, what is the point? What is the point of living? At the end of the day, I think the issue is really like people are doing more McDonald's and more KFCs than they should be eating healthy. When really you should be eating healthy 80% of the time and doing whatever you want the rest of the time. I'm not someone who's I don't even say this to my clients and the ones that I work with, that you should just be strict 100% in eating, super healthy all the time. But I mean, if you want to indulge in the things that you want to indulge, please do so. Because at the same time, I feel like whatever brings you happiness, you need to do it. But I think people abuse that.
Yeah. What do you think of intermittent fasting?
I love it.
Yeah.
Most of my clients all of my clients have lost weight, improved their metabolic health, have given up sugar because they've craved it so much, have given up eating the things that they craved for so much, because intermittent fasting takes away those cravings from you. It puts your body in a different...
What's the time That,
I think 16 hours is healthy.
uh-huh.
So the 16-hour gap between your first meal and your last meal.
I was doing 24.
24 hours,
24.
you're doing 20 hours
20-hour fasting.
and 4 hours eating. That's pretty good too. That's amazing. I think that's pretty good. I'm the 1 meal a day
Yeah, actually, 1 meal a day. That's
kind
what
of girl,
yeah.
So the 1 meal a day kind of
Which
works
meal
for
do you
us.
take?
I sometimes take dinner, but mainly it's a lunch.
Mm-hmm.
I feel quite bloated in the evening if I'm going to have dinners mainly. So I am more a lunch person.
But it's tough. You get invited to a lot of events, to a lot
Yeah.
of dinners, and
So what do you do?
social business.
What do you do mainly when you're in these social gatherings? Like, do you eat a heavy meal or you're eating kind of like just picking on food?
I try to pick on food and pretend that I'm eating.
Yeah.
If it's a dinner, if it's a lunch. So it depends. Or if I know that I'm going to have dinner, then I skip lunch and then I do my meal at the dinner.
Yeah. I think that's the best solution, actually. I tell
but
people the exact
Yeah,
same.
you got a plan.
You got to plan.
Yeah,
It's
you
just
gotta
it's like planning, the menu that the foods that you're gonna eat in the menu when you go in the restaurant. It's important.
Yeah.
Do you skip the bread basket or you take the bread basket?
Once a week, I'm allowing myself to eat whatever I want.
No, but I mean, if you go to a restaurant,
It depends. If it's a French restaurant, I'm definitely not skipping
you
the
can't
bread
skip the bread basket.
I can skip it.
I know. I think that is something that most people can't.
Yeah. It's a difficult, but as you said, if you make sure that 80% of the time you're doing good, you can 20% you can cheat a bit.
Yeah.
I realized you and I are providing to individuals probably the two most important or solving two most important issues in humanity ever: health and freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. Health and freedom.
Because if you're unhealthy, life is totally miserable. And the ultimate punishment when you break the law is putting you in jail, so taking your freedom out.
And what I noticed as well is that although the UAE is growing and thriving and building so many incredible different ways to kind of stay here, I think they launched a retirement scheme now? Because it used to be gratuity back in the day, and now they have wanted a different avenue to explore, and they've also now launched a retirement scheme, which means that older people can now retire and live here.
Yes, and that's great because this is becoming a destination when people want to retire, for various reasons. And there was a problematic back in the days for anyone, for retired people or people that work here, because everybody was on this residency visa that was tied to your work company or you're sponsored by somebody. And then the moment you would lose your job, you would be in trouble. You had only 1 month to stay in the country. They regulated that very well. Now there is a retirement visa program. There is a golden visa, 10 years visa for, there are different ways how you can get a golden visa: through investment, through a nomination, being a extraordinary individual, being sponsored by somebody who has a golden visa. So this is something that our company does with the government, and I believe it attracted so much more a talent.
Absolutely.
It attracted more people that want to come here, spend their retirement years, but they are not a burden on the country. They're actually coming with something and, just living and spending. It's good for our economy. And then also it gives a sign from the government issuing this 10 years golden visa that the government really wants you to integrate into the community. It's not about coming here for a year or two, living and leaving. It's being part of this country. This country does not offer a citizenship.
Yeah.
But this golden visa, I got my golden visa from the government. It was one of the first batch. I was so proud. And meant to me. And I see clients that we have that get these golden visas. It means to them.
Absolutely. It is an accomplishment to be able to have that.
It was a great move from the government, great sign to show we want you to be here with us. We want you to stay long
Do
time.
you think they're gonna ever open up citizenship here?
It's a touchy subject. It's a sovereign right of every country to decide what they're going to do with their citizenship. I do understand that this is a country with this relatively small population.
Yeah.
And that it could play out on one way or another. Of course, me being somebody here for many years, you being somebody from raising our families here, we would be honored to have it.
Absolutely.
And many people would love to have it. Whether that's going to happen or not, we will have to wait and see.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me that question. They're like, "Do you have the citizenship of the UAE because you lived there so long?" I'm like, "They don't offer that."
Yeah.
But I think they did though. They did like back in the day to a select number of people. But it's pretty difficult to be able to get the citizenship in the UAE.
Yeah. Now that's not, like, I would say that it's not a commodity. Like, it's not something that, but you're aware that many countries in the world offer citizenship
Absolutely.
and residency by investment that
Absolutely.
you can.
I have friends that actually did that in Portugal.
Yeah. Well, my company offers these services to more than 20 countries around the world, where on one way or another, by investing or contributing to government funds, buying bonds, investing in a venture funds, you can get permanent residency or citizenship, case by case, depending which jurisdiction. And to these economies, it did really, really well. Some of the economies in the countries where we work, this industry brings 30-40% of the GDP.
Wow,
It's a huge impact, and especially in the Caribbean islands, the small islands that live from tourism pretty much. This is the industry. Also, it's accelerated to bring investors to build hotels and all these things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that's another thing, how important it is for the country. It's how important it is for the individuals that that decide to participate in some of these programs. 70-80% of the population of the world is born with a passport that does not give them much of a mobility.
That's a huge population. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you look at East and Africa, a passport average number of countries that you can go visa-free is 30, 40. And these countries are not European Union, UK, US, Canada, Australia. So it's difficult. You're coming from a country that citizenship, passport is not strong enough. You always have to queue up in front of the embassies to get visas, rejected over and over. And if you are a businessman who travels a lot, does international business, if you're a family that wants to send their kids to live abroad, study abroad, if you're from a region which geopolitically it's unstable, we see wars and conflicts are happening all around the world. Innocent people is suffering. Some people want to have just plan B in case. Then the banks, the compliance. People are suffering just because they are from somewhere. And that is unfair. So I think if somebody can afford it, to change some things about themselves, like you and I change things about ourselves, to make their life better, I think that's amazing.
I think that everyone that should do it. I think it shouldn't even be something that you need to think about. I think you should just do it.
Everybody should get the second passport.
Absolutely. If
From
they can-
Soland.
Yeah.
From Soland only.
No, also, Milos, you've been in the industry for quite a long time.
Yeah.
I guess it's like me buying a property, and I want to make sure I'm buying it from the right person. And I would rather buy it from someone I trust than from just anyone, because I've heard so many horror stories about people who have been scammed. And, and scamming happens, and believe it or not, it's happening in the region too, like we've been hearing it I get emails all the time from banks about fraudsters and this. And, it's, as a country grows and any other place in the world, we're always going to hear certain things, right? And it's hard to have no crime at all ever, but it's about like knowing that the person that you're going to be trusting to get a second passport, getting real estate, someone that you're going to trust in the health space, is a big deal. You know, like it's someone that you need to know that you've done your due diligence on for so many years. And I believe in Soland. You've been doing this for such a long time. So there's no other place that I would go to when I'm going to go buy real estate, as we've spoken about, from my home in Bali. And for anyone else that would be interested in getting passports or setting up a business as well.
Thank you so much. We're running out of time, so I want to mention another thing. We are doing interesting events together under the name Health and Wealth.
Yeah.
So you're better in that. Can you
Yeah,
tell,
so
tell our,
we came up with this really cool idea. I think it's going to do really well. I think health and wealth is super important because without one or the other, you can't be able to thrive anyway. And health being the pretty much the foundation of that. And we decided to throw an event quite soon, actually. It's happening next month. And we're going to be focusing on bringing super successful individuals who have focused on building thriving businesses, but then showing them a different aspect to why health is also important. So this is going to be an ongoing collaboration with Soland and Be That Life. We are going to do newsletters, blogs, create events to really showcase why health should be an important aspect to building wealth.
I'm very excited, and in Soland we are building a community. It's business is a business, and there is a commercial side of it. But we help families, we change their lives. One of the most important decisions in your life is when you're buying a home.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then providing them with the second chance of freedom. It just feels special. Many times I saw clients getting that passport in their hands and the tears just go the entire family.
Gosh.
It's amazing. It makes you so happy. So I'm excited about building a community. That's why health and wellness being very important component of our life. I'm excited to see Be That Life blogs, recommendation content on the Soland platform. People can come and learn even more than
About longevity.
yeah.
You know?
Because in the way, if they get that property and if they get that passport, they have to live long enough to enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. So look, there is something that we have. I have here. Every guest, before we finish, they ask a question to our next guest without knowing who our next guest is. So you've been asked a question from Deputy Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Ernest Hilaire. And the question is, being small,
Being small.
is it a blessing or a curse?
What do you mean by being small? Well, in what aspect?
Well, he is from St. Lucia, very small island. Very beautiful, but being small has challenges. So he put it that way, thinking of his country. But you can connect it with anything that comes on your mind.
The UAE was small when I moved here,
It was.
and look what it's built. So it's not a curse; it's a blessing because you're able to put yourself on the map and be given an opportunity to do so. And the UAE was able to put themselves on the map, and no one knew what this country was about. You know, I was not where I am today. You know, I was turned down multiple times in life with so many different ideas and things that I wanted to create because I wasn't doing it for over a decade. And, you know, but I build something small to something big. And I believe It's a blessing. And I think, all of these questions or anything that we put in life, it's all about perception and perspective. We can either look at a cup half full or half empty,
Yeah, exactly.
right? And I'm always the half full kind of girl. So my answer, it's always a blessing.
Good. I hope to hear that. Now it's your turn. You have to ask a question to our next guest without knowing who our next guest is. And you can ask anything.
I think about this one. Hold on.
Think about it.
If fear was the only option, if fear was your only option, how would you live life with that challenge?
Okay, that's a good one.
That's a hard one.
It is a hard one. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to have you in the studio, for a great conversation, for being our partner, and for doing amazing things that you're doing. I know you will continue being more and more successful, and the ones that don't know about you will hear about you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Milosh. It's been great.